What's up, fight fans? This is TBE Boxing, back at you again. Today's topic, Kamaru Usman turned Gilbert Burns' dream of a title win into a Nigerian nightmare in Las Vegas. Let's chop it up and see what it's all about.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life for riches, huh? That life for riches, huh? Pretty bitch, show me titties, huh? And I got the glazzy run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, fight fans, let's talk some UFC. It was UFC 258, Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. And I have to say that the UFC has delivered again. Spectacular fight, great performance by both guys. You know, the best fighting the best. You know, UFC is, continuing to deliver great fights after great fights after great fights. You know, I mean, I have to say, unlike boxing, where we're seeing guys, the best is not fighting the best, and there's a lot of ducking going on. So yes, the Nigerian nightmare Kamaru Usman put on a stellar performance last night. It was a great fight. Both guys put on great performances. Burns had Usman hurt early in the fight. However, due to his great conditioning and his toughness, Usman was able to overcome and ended up defeating Gilbert Burns in a spectacular stoppage. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna say about this guy Usman. I mean, this guy is really a fantastic fighter, to say the least. I mean, the guy is great. We all saw one of his standout performances when he fought Colby Covington in that fight. That was a great performance as well. Tonight, he did another spectacular performance. Like I said, he got hurt early in the fight, for a little while there, but he toughed it out. You can see that he was in great condition. His conditioning, worked for him, for him to be able to withstand, the onslaught that Gilbert Burns, came with, in the first round. I mean, Gilbert Burns have nothing to be ashamed of. He put on a great performance, but like he himself said, I think he got a little over anxious when he thought he had Kamaru hurt, and he went after Kamaru, a little anxiously. I think he kind of gassed himself out, and that played a part, in his loss later on in the fight. I think he got a little tired in there. But Usman, had great cardio, it looks like. The guy, was in a fantastic condition. And he was able to, like I said, withstand the early onslaught by Gilbert Burns. I mean, it's safe to say that if it was anybody else in there but Usman, Gilbert Burns would have walked out a champion tonight. But Usman is no joke, and it's going to take a lot to get him out of there. And I don't really see who, we're going to, that's coming up that can really, give him the challenge, or even, come close to defeating him right now. I mean, for right now, he's going to be a nightmare for anybody that comes into that ring, So now, the main weapon for Usman in this fight was the jab. It was a great jab. It's such a great thing to see a fighter, and he's not even a boxer per se. He's a fighter, he's a UFC fighter, mixed martial art, and to see a fighter realize the value of a good jab is a great thing to see. Okay, because you even have certain boxers that don't really use their jab. effectively, okay? But in this fight, Usman, he knocked down Gilbert Burns twice with a jab, okay? Just think about that. He knocked down Gilbert Burns twice with just his jab alone. That's how strong his jab was in this fight. He kept switching stance from left, to righty, and he delivered a jab with precision. It was almost like a Larry Holmes jab. I don't know if a lot of you guys might not know about Larry Holmes, but the boxer, he was had one of the best jabs in the business. Okay, and this is the kind of jab that I saw Usman with tonight. It was like a Larry Holmes jab. Solid, straight, powerful. Okay, a jab that hurts you. Okay, it's not a jab to keep you at bay or a jab to blind you. It's a jab that when he delivers it, it hurts. Okay, he had Gilbert Burns hurt several times with just the jab alone and knocked him down twice with the jab. So yeah, it's great to see that. This guy, he's an MMA fighter. He's a UFC fighter, but he's using the jab, better than most boxers. I would say better than 90% of the boxers out there. So we have to give it to him. That was a great use of the jab in there. His striking game, he's almost like a boxer in there. Really, he's a good. Like I said, just the use of the jab alone tells the story. How effective he was at striking in this fight. Okay. Besides the jab, he was throwing some right hands. It was a great display of striking. Really, he has a very, Usman has a very high IQ when it comes to actual boxing or striking, as they call it in MMA. I've heard people talk about this guy, that guy is the best striker in the business or the best striker in MMA, but I think you'd have to put Usman up there with the top 5 strikers in the UFC, probably in the UFC history. A great performance. Good boxing techniques, striking techniques, as they call it in the UFC. Head movement, switching stance. It was a spectacular performance. It was a great thing to see. Basically, he kept hurting Gilbert with that jab. Okay, and that was the difference. That made a big difference in this fight. And Burns never really recovered, really, from being hurt several times in that fight. He never got a chance to recover because he kept getting hurt constantly by the jab. The jab was like a cannon. Okay, the way Usman was delivering it tonight. Great performance, great use of the jab. I can't say that enough. Okay, that's how you use a jab. Okay, that's what a jab is supposed to do in a fight. Okay, the jab is the main weapon for a boxer. Okay, and any boxer or even a striker that doesn't have a jab is fighting one-handed. Okay, and so Usman really made great use of the jab, excellent use of that jab tonight, and the jab delivered for him in this fight. I would have to say that. That was the big difference in this fight. Like I said, he kept hurting Gilbert Burns with the jab, and he knocked him down twice with the jab. Okay, so that tells the whole story right there. So all in all, it was a great fight. Like I said, Gilbert Burns tried to, take the offensive several times. Okay, he tried to take down Usman, but Usman was able to, avoid getting taken down. Couple of times, Usman, Gilbert Burns was on his back on the ground trying to draw Usman in. But Usman didn't take the bait. He stayed on his feet, which is, that was a good decision to do that. Okay, but I think at the end of the day, I think on his back, I think Burns was basically resting, more or less on his back. That's why he was down there, I would think, I think, the standing up and trying to fight Usman was taking its toll on him, the movement and, the constant getting in touch with that jab. And he was fatigued, like I said, because when he got Usman hurt, he went after Usman a little bit too much and punched himself out, missing a lot of shots. And as you know, when you miss shots like that, when you trying to you're attempting haymakers and you miss it, it really takes a lot out of you. And Usman wasn't just good at jabbing, but he was also good at defense. Okay, his defense was great tonight, slipping punches. Okay, it was a great display of good striking boxing technique. I mean, this guy could actually be a professional boxer. He looked like to me. A great performance, man. I mean, great striking, the best striking I've seen in the UFC in a good long while. And I can't say enough about that jab. I mean, this is how you use it. If someone wants to, if there's I don't care if you're a boxer or MMA or whatever, okay, any kind of fighter. If you want to see how a jab is supposed to be used, watch this fight, and you'll see this is the effective use of the jab. Okay, the most effective use of the jab I've ever seen in a long time. So, and it's ironic that we're seeing this type of display from a UFC fighter as opposed to a boxer. Okay, this jab was, very effective. I keep saying it, but it's just when I don't know, when you guys see this fight, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, after the fight ended, because Usman ended up stopping Burns, really beat him up pretty bad there. He wasn't debilitated or anything, but he got a good beating there from Usman. So after the fight, the guys, they hugged, and because they were, as you all know, they were friends prior to this fight, the stablemates, so to speak, in the same boxing gym and so forth and so on. So they hugged and talked, and after the fight, which is great to see. Mutual respect. Usman called out Usman called out Masvidal. Okay, he said Masvidal has been talking a lot of crap, about he only had 6 days notice and this, that, and the other, and he did such and such against Usman. So Usman, looks like he's pissed at Masvidal continue, running his mouth, and so he called him out. He said, "Well, let's get this thing going. Let's do it. You get a full camp and let's get this fight going." So I think he's a little annoyed with Masvidal trying to live off of that performance he had against Usman when they fought, and I think he wants to settle the score. Even though he won that fight with Masvidal, but still, I think he wants to put a beating on Masvidal this time around. I think if they fight again, he's gonna try to put a more severe beating on Masvidal. That's what I would think. So yeah, UFC 258. Great performance by both guys, but a spectacular one by Usman in particular. The UFC delivers again. I can see now why UFC is becoming so popular and boxing is kind of declining. These guys are making fights in the UFC that people want to see, competitive fights, great fights. And like I said, in boxing, everybody's ducking everybody. It's like it's duck season in boxing right now. And in UFC, as you can see, the fights are getting made, and we're seeing great fights. Also, you all know a good fight coming up soon will be Adesanya and Blachowicz. So that's going to be a good fight coming up. I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, but congratulations to Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. Congratulations to Gilbert Burns. Put up a great performance. Put up a great resistance against Usman, but ultimately he was defeated in a great fight, exciting fight. Congratulations to both guys. I'm gonna leave it there. See you on the next one. This is TBE Boxing. I'm out.